Anambra is heading to the polls to elect a new governor. And in this video, we look at the statistics, we look at the law, I will also look at the expectations of Nigerian citizens and of the people of Anambra State regarding this election. INEC is already set for the election. They have mobilized to Anambra. We saw videos and photographs of materials being counted at the Central Bank of Nigeria in the branch there in Anambra State. So, Anambra for this election has a total of 2,802,790 registered voters. This figure is official from INEC, right? Now, out of these 2,802,790 registered voters, we look at the number of registered voters in some of the local government areas. The local government area with the highest number of registered voters is Idemili North. It has a total of 246,318 registered voters, representing 8.79% of the total votes in Anambra State, the total number of voters, of registered voters in Anambra State. The second local government is Oka South. Oka South has a total of 216,611 registered voters, representing a total of 7.73% of the registered voters in the state. The third is Ogbaru. Ogbaru has 188,016 registered voters, representing 6.71% of the registered voters in the state. The number 4 local government is Dunokofia, which has a total of 83,581 registered voters, representing 2.98% of the total number of registered voters in the state. Now, let's look at the local government that has the least number of registered voters. That is Anambra West. Anambra West has a total of 71,332 registered voters, representing only 2.55% of the registered voters in the entire state for this election. Now, there are so many other local government areas. Anambra has a total of 21 local government areas, and so each of the local governments has its own number of registered voters for this election. For want of time, we cannot just carry all of them in this very video. Now, in the 2006 census, Anambra is said to have a total of 4,177,821 residents. This is the total number of people residing in Anambra State as at the 2016 census. Nigeria has not had a general census since 2016, and this is how many years now? It is expected that more people would have lived in Anambra. So let's just approximate this to have 5 million residents in Anambra State. If Anambra has up to 5 million residents, all of them up to the age of 18 and capable of being registered voters, and what we have for this election is 2,802,791 persons registering for the election. That means that not less than 2 million people, okay, if we approximate this to 3 million, not less than 2 million people residents in Anambra are not going to vote in this election because they have not registered for purpose of the election. INEC has cleared a number of persons for this election, so many, right, representing various political parties. Anambra is one state that is very conscious politically. You will never have dull moments in Anambra election. If you talk about shortage of candidates in other places, not in Anambra, because Anambra is one state in our country where there are so many billionaires in that state. And you know, election is a matter of money, largely about money. So you cannot sponsor an election if you don't have the money. So in Anambra, there are many billionaires that team up to sponsor candidates for every election. And in this election, In fairness, so many persons have been cleared by INEC for the election. But we just bring out 6 of them, okay? Just 6 of them. So you see Soludo, the current governor. You also see Okachuku. You see Ezenwafo. You see Mogalu. You see Chuma Nwosu, Jeffrey Onyejebu. 6 persons in 6 of the leading political parties in the state contesting for 1 seat, the seat of governor of Anambra State. 6 persons plus many other persons that have been cleared. Now, what does the law say about what the winner must have before he is declared as the person to lead the state as governor? Okay, we go to section 179 of the Constitution, sub 2. It says, a candidate for an election to the office of governor shall be deemed to have been duly elected where there being 2 or more candidates, that candidate, A, has the highest number of votes cast at the election. Highest number of votes cast. So once you emerge as the person that has the highest number of votes cast at the election, you have met the first criteria to be declared as a winner. But look at the second criteria. The second criteria says that that person must have not less than 1/4 of all the votes cast in each of at least 2/3 of the local government areas. So I explain. You must have at least 1/4 of all the votes cast in at least 2/3 of the local government areas in the state. Anambra has 21 local government areas. 2/3 of 21 is 14, 15, not more than 15, but 14, right? So 2/3 of these is 14 or 15. So for any person to qualify to be declared as a winner of the governorship election in Anambra, he is not only going to score the highest number of votes, he must also score at least 1/4 of all the votes cast in each of at least 2/3 of the local government. So in each of these 14 local government areas, the governorship candidate must score at least 1/4 of the votes. So if you have 100% of votes, you must have at least 1/4 of 100. 1/4 of 100 is 25. So you must have at least 25,000 of the votes in each of the 14 local governments in the states. Now, from 1999 till today, since Nigeria returned to democracy till today, every governorship election has been contested. Well, maybe Anambra's one is going to be different. It's not going to be contested. But if the persons that lose wish to contest the election in courts, what's the procedure? They are expected to file election petition within 21 days from the date of the announcement of the result. And this is very strict in law. 21 days. If you file it on the 22nd day, that petition has expired in your hands. So you must file it within 21 days from the announcement of the result of that election, right? And governorship petitions can go up to the Supreme Court. It begins at the tribunal. If you are dissatisfied at the tribunal, you move on to the Court of Appeal. From the Court of Appeal, if you are still satisfied, you move up to the Supreme Court. Now, what are the number of days in all these courts? 180 days at the tribunal, that is 6 months. That's what the Constitution says. 60 days at the Court of Appeal, that's 2 months. 60 days also at the Supreme Court, that's another 2 months. So altogether, 6 plus 2 plus 2 is equals to 9 months in court. So for the person that is declared as a winner of the Anambra election that we're expecting in few days, right? The person that is declared as a winner, if you are taken to court, you're going to be in court for 9 months. Most petitioners will throttle it to the Supreme Court from precedents. So you're going to be in court for 9 months. Your tenure is 4 years, but for the first 9 months, you're going to be in court. I don't know whether it's not possible for us to have election in Nigeria where people don't go to court and spend this time, spending the resources and all of that. It is possible. But when are we going to have that? When the elections are free and fair in the country. We proceed. What do we want from this election in Anambra? It has become a national issue. Everybody is interested in the Anambra election. Every citizen of this country, well-meaning citizen of this country, wants to see one or two things in the Anambra election. And the people of Anambra also have expectations from this election. The Indian Anambra people, they have expectations. Now, what do I think is the first expectation? One, free and fair election. Anything short of that, you have disappointed the people. Free and fair election. Other countries in Africa have gotten it right. So many countries. They've gotten it right in the electoral process. In Ghana, a serving vice president had to put a call across to the opposition candidate, the current president of Ghana, and then congratulate him. He told him, "Congratulations, sir. You have defeated me. I concede the defeat." Why? I think it was because he could see clearly, like a glass cup with clean water inside the glass cup. Dr. Baumea could see clearly that he had lost the election in a fair contest and had to call the current president, President John, His Excellency John, to concede the defeat, concede the election to him. So Anambra people and the people of Nigeria want to see free and fair election. Number two, we want to see absence of intimidation of voters. Intimidation of voters. We want to see complete absence of that in this election. Number three, no stuffing of ballot boxes. Core members are used in some elections to stuff the ballot boxes with the assistance of some party agents and all of that. Core member, you're still you're going to look for a job after your service here. So we must have a Nigeria where things can be done right so as to give us that guaranteed future. As core members, please don't assist in stuffing the ballot boxes with fake papers. 4, let what happened at the polling units not be changed at collation centers. Collation centers have become a serious problem for Nigeria. Collation centers are like slaughterhouses. In many elections, they are like slaughterhouses where the outcome of elections are slaughtered. They are destroyed completely at collation centers. What has happened is that most times we have free and fair election at the polling units, it's counted, people rejoice and all that. But as the materials move from the polling units to the collation center, different things occur there. The outcome becomes something else. So you have the polling unit result in your hand, but it's unable to match with what is done at the collation center. So collation centers have become slaughterhouses for free and fair election. Let Anambra be an exception. And why are we still having manual collation of results in the 21st century? Why? When we have electronic devices, when we have computer, when we have technology that can make it real time, as it is done at the polling unit, it is submitted there and it reflects at the collation center. It is a shame for us to still have manual collation of results in the 21st century in a country that is not poor, a country that votes so much money for every election. Number 5, Professor Omupiton should take full control of the electoral process. Dear sir, this is a test election for you. You can say that you are not the person that commenced the process, okay, but you have come to meet the process. The box stops on your table. We need you to be in charge of this election, complete charge of this election. Don't be the person that will receive calls from Abuja or God knows where for you to alter anything in the electoral process. Now, let me point out something. You see, there is a particular thing that has become notorious. I call it notorious break time during collation. We saw it in Osun State, where in the middle of collation, that professor from one of the universities in the West, a federal university, paused the collation process. He said, "Gentlemen, we'll go on break for 15 minutes, we'll be back." That 15 minutes has become very notorious. Whether it is 5 or 10 minutes, that break has become very notorious in some elections in Nigeria. Let there be no break. Once the process starts, let it throttle to the end. That break time sometimes leads to the changing of figures, except we are playing the ostrich. The man in Osun State, the current governor of Osun State, criticized that break time. You remember what happened in Osun State. So Professor Mupiton, let us avoid that notorious break time in the Anambra collation exercise. Let it be throttled to the end, and whoever wins should be declared as the winner of the election. It shouldn't matter. The person has been considered qualified to stand election. The person is from Anambra State. Whether it is a man or a woman, provided it is a choice of the Anambra people, please let the person be declared as a winner of that election. Many thanks for watching.